All right, so hold on, Kim. So to go back to that point where parents leave kids, oftentimes, especially in the 80s and 90s in Jamaica and even present day also, parents will leave, go away to go work. Okay, whether we going to foreign or going to a different parish to go work, and send back money to take care of to take care of the kids. So a lot of children grew up with grand aunts, grandmother.
Because let me tell you, when I grew up with a great aunt, she was like a matriarch she was a matriarch in the family, right? Because she was a matriarch and well revered by a lot of persons in the family, because mind you, she also grew up in, she was born in St. Elizabeth, grew up there, but then she moved away and she came to Kingston. So she kind of broke, she kind of broke like a generational thing as well. Yeah, she broke a generational cycle in it. And she broke that cycle, and then everybody else started to follow suit with her. And then there's always somebody that breaks a cycle in a family. It's either you break a cycle up, and you have to understand how your family is to understand how to break those cycles. Is your family somebody who loves to drink alcohol? Is your family somebody who loves to like
very promiscuous, violence?
Yeah, violence.
Definitely trickles down. It definitely trickles
down. And you have to recognize what those cycles are and break them. And in order to break them, you can't sit there and have your kids living in darkness, not telling them the truth about your family stuff. And sometimes you hide things from our kids because of the fact that you want to protect them. But at the end of the day,
that's not the way.
That's not the way, because
you're not hurting them more.
You're gonna end up hurting them more. You have to tell them the truth. And even all right, for instance, with me, some things I never got to learn. My family, as I said, some things they kept from me, and I'm wondering why they kept it. But as I said, maybe it's for protection, and sometimes too is out of embarrassment. So, like for instance, with my mom having me at such a young age, because of that, she never really went to school to go for education. And you know, when you have kids out of you do them shaming at a village, all kind of stuff them do, right? So I kind of looked at my mom's situation and said, I didn't want to do early pregnancy. So my focus was get my education, because I think that was important, because I saw where persons who got an education, even if they never inherit the wealth, they could work up towards getting it. Right. So I think that was very important and a pivotal point in my development. And I said that, you know, I was looking at the grades, always learn about Marcus. Certain things you learn from me in a primary school, from me at children.
That's instilled in you.
But yeah, that's instilled in you. Still Van Gogh will vanish away, but a good education
will never decay.
And I've always had that in my head, that the more you inform your children, the more you educate them at a young age, the better equipped they are about things in life. If you want your kids to know about, all right, for instance, as I said, dieting, you have to let them know. If you want your kids to know about making money, whatever you want your kids to know, you have to instill that in them. And you have to teach them.
Yeah, like just to piggyback on that, it goes with breaking the cycle also, because as we know, like parents from back then, they would speak to their children openly and teach them about certain things.
They weren't, because they hide things from the children.
But so, even though they are still hiding. If you go to your parents right now to reveal something that happened in your past, most times they're not going to be empathetic. They're going to be like, "Why you wait so long?" And then the conversation makes you want to not disclose anything.
Tell them anything again, right? Let me point out something to you. So for me, because I grew up in that situation, I'm around a bunch of extended family who is not remarried, as I said, my biological parents, and you're away from them, not realizing that I was kind of away from my family and whatever. But the mere fact is, maybe, as I said, they thought that was a better thing. And to be honest, can't really blame my mother too, because she probably started as a better way as well, because they have, in them convinced her or whatever, and so she think it was the best avenue. To be honest, I probably kind of wish I was, because I love my mother to death.
Mhm.
More than anything in this world, because for me, when I was 13 and I was like, how the hell she managed to have baby at 14? Huh? So I was like, oh,
14?
yeah, homage to you, because don't even know if I could have pushed out one damn self and deal with all that.
Yeah.
Because when I say the mental space, because I remember one of my friends was telling me one time how she went through postpartum and all kind of something. And these things, some women don't share with people, some women
Mhm.
don't share with men, and every week, and women kind of keep a lot of back in the day and keep things secret too. So you don't share the things then to help them. To me, as I said, sharing help the other one. That's what
And
I
helps to
think.
overcome also.
Yes.
So overcome helps to inspire. Marsha, in regards to a situation you might have experienced on your journey that stood out for you, that you basically had to overcome. Like, would you mind sharing that aspect of your life?
You put me on the spot. Well, I have been through a lot of things. For example, I can just give a simple story. When I was in high school, I had a lot of troubles. I was a very angry child. I had my backstory, which one day I'll eventually come and speak about.
Okay.
I was basically written off by teachers, some teachers, not from my academics, but they used to tell me, I remember two persons, you're not going to become anything with that attitude, whatever. They never really tried to find the underlying issue. When I went to counseling, it was more so like vacation from class. I wasn't really getting much treatment. It was a counselor, but the psychological aspect of getting down to the integrity of what was happening, nobody was there. And I never really had people that I could share information with. But for me, when I used to dance from my high school. I used to do track and field, a lot of things. For the last 2 or 3 years of high school, I played football, which is soccer, and
Yeah.
I danced. And um, those things helped me to go through with all the negativity and all the writing off, and everybody telling me. They used to even compare me to my sister. I used to hate it. I love my sister to death
Uh-huh.
as well, but they used to be like, "Oh, your sister is skinnier than you, and you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your sister must be brighter than you. You must, those little things that will infiltrate negativity in your mind." Anyways, when I was in the 11th grade, I went to play a football match, and I got the news that I was not graduating from high school. No,
Which high school did you go to,
I
by
went
the way?
from Montego. I went to Mount Everina High School.
Oh,
So
Mount Alvernia.
yeah, so my boyfriend at the time, when I went home, he had a talk with me, and he was like, "You know what? You're doing 860s, you're doing one GCE. We're going to focus on that. Don't worry about the graduation paper or anything like that." I went on. I did all my exams. I passed all my exams. When I went to come see, I did well. I went to UN, I did well, and I was living in Japan. Fast forward, living in Japan, my mom is by the market. Two of the persons who claimed that I wouldn't be anything or amount to anything, they were like, "Oh, she's in Japan. I knew that she would have been doing well, blah, 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 blah."
Shot them with success.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm looking at all the things that they put me through. As in, yes, I had underlying issues, but the safe space was not created for me to speak to anybody about those things. I'm not just going to go to my guidance coach and say, yes, uh, where I feel some form of condescending thing about her personality. She's sweet, but like when you try to open up to her, I felt that I would have been judged. So I didn't really want to express anything that was happening, but I was just lashing out. I would fight, I would curse teachers, friends, like a lot of things. But what always kept me in high school is the fact that I did very well academically. So
That's good.
the teachers would be like, "Wanna go and follow Marsha? Marsha give trouble, but she bright, you know." And those things like you said something about breaking the cycle. My
Yeah.
my parents, they went to good high schools, but when they left, they didn't do anything like
Okay.
have like go to college or anything like that. Over the years, they've done like some certifications and whatnot that they don't use, by the way.
Majority of persons.
But
They don't use it.
where we grew up, which I will talk about probably another day, was very volatile, and we didn't have much persons that we could emulate in my community. It was a lot of violence, a lot of teenage pregnancy, truancy,
and that was in Montego Bay.
yes, etc., etc. All of that we were surrounded by. And even though my parents were not the most orthodox, they were very unorthodox. They pushed education, so they'd be like, "You guys, you have to finish. You have to go to this high school. You have to go to come see. You have to do this. You have to do that." And
because they wanted better.
Yes, I had my sister who did that journey. I have an older sibling he didn't really do that, but my sister, she's doing really well now. She's a lawyer. You have me, my brother that follows me, he's working. I'm trying to push him to go to school as well. My sister that follows him, she's going to nursing school. And my little sister that follows her, she's in high school on the honor roll. So even though our circumstances were negative, we overcame whatever was there. The structure that my parents had. My parents push education. They'll say, okay, with student loan, we will make sure that you go to school. They always push for that. And people used to say, oh, you guys have too many kids, because they have in total 6 of us. Oh, you have too many kids. Let them go. My parents never believed in that. They never gave away us to anybody. They kept us all
to themselves.
They probably could have done better, because sometimes when you have a lot of kids, you kind of neglect some. But the love and the care and the fact that
I kind of prefer that setting, because from what I realize, you get to see you. To be honest, I think it's better when they're around, because like for right now with my younger siblings, most of them are together, and I always, most times they call me for stuff. Sometimes I don't even want to hear from them. But yeah, they call me for stuff. But I think it's a better situation for them, because it will be like them more looking out for each other. And I kind of tell them, certain things to be on guard and whatnot. But I want them to kind of see for them. I want them to be there for each other, as opposed to being outside of it,